So what I've been saying is that basically we had one restart for each player across this series of 3 games. BacT has used it. Janik will have that available to him to use on this double arena, all in the 3rd game if he so chooses. Last time we had double arena in Call to Arms. It was BacT versus Tato, I think, and BacT was Spanish, Tato was Turks, and BacT won that. So let's see if he can actually win both sides of that Spanish versus Turks matchup on double arena, facing off against a different opponent this time, obviously. Turks have been a very, very popular choice for double arena. Quite in Call to Arms so far, I think basically every single time apart from once that somebody's used them, but they haven't enjoyed very much success because although a Turk fast imp seems quite logical, because not only can you fast imp very nicely, but you can back it up with a huge economy, way more economy than you'd normally have when you're doing fast imp with a 1 TC start. It's also possible for the opponent to really boom up and go imp with a much larger economy than you, not too much later, and kind of defend it through macro, just kind of ride out that Turk aggression. So let's see how it goes. Looks like Janik almost wants to block his villager with all these sheep getting in the way. It's not just using 1 sheep to block the boar, it's sending 4 sheep to block the villager. Suicide. But let's see how the 2 players are shaping up so far. Both with 27 villagers, so they're keeping pace with each other. Nobody having a bad start with the double TC. It's obviously quite difficult to manage, but these are our top players who have the macro ability and the experience to deal with that. BacT in particular, I would have thought, has probably played quite a few double TC starts in his time. Just checking out the maps then, we see main gold inside for BacT, along with his second one and his extra, like his secondary mines. There's some inside as well towards the back. He's even got one of the extra map mines behind his arena, which is nice. Just one just outside of his walls. Pretty much the same for Janik. An extra map gold behind him, along with an extra map stone and a relic. It looks like there are only 4 relics on the map. Sometimes there can be a variable number of relics on this map because the game, the relic placement script is slightly altered from standard arena, and it tries to place them quite fairly, which you'd have to say this is. It's kind of 2 which are easier for BacT to get and 2 which are easier for Janik to get, although this one potentially a little bit contested. Some extra mines around the kind of northern edge of the arena. Pretty fair overall. No massive vulnerabilities in the resource placements for either player. They've both got like one forward gold, fairly forward gold. But that's the beauty of double arena. You have so many resources. You can lose a main gold that's forward, and you've still got a main gold in the back and 2 other golds to retreat to, and if you're really lucky, an extra one behind. So really, it's less on this double arena about denying a particular main goal for your enemy and really crippling them by doing that, but more about overall control, denying more and more resources and just winning through force of macro and army composition in a pitched battle, which we will get into pretty quickly indeed, considering that players are able to click up to the feudal age on 40 villagers and not really have to hang around too long in either the feudal or castle age before reaching the imperial age. We should see both players in imp, give or take around 20-ish minutes or just a bit after. Can't remember the exact timings from when we've seen it before. But Janik's gone up a little bit faster here. He's reaching the feudal age as BacT clicks up, so he has fallen a few villagers behind as a result, of course, but his fast castle time is going to be really, really nice, made even faster by the fact that his Spanish and those buildings will go up just a tiny bit quicker. The resources are in. If we look, pretty much he should be able to force drop food to get there. The gold's in. Might have to queue. No, he'll be able to click before he queues 2 more villagers. We could see one of those TCs going idle for just a second now. Yeah, he's not making any more villagers to try and go up, which is fine, because if he gets a really nice castle time, then he will be able to make up for that momentary idleness. He's still idle for a little bit, but it's fine. He's going to reach the castle age at 13 minutes 26. which is a really fast time indeed, and he's actually going to be about 30-40% castle by the time BacT reaches the feudal age, so he's going to be in position to get those extra town centres up and get on with his boom a lot quicker than BacT. Seems like BacT wants to prioritise an early castle, judging by the number of villages on stone. We'll have to see whether that's going to signal him going really aggressive with that in the castle age or not. For Janik, there's no sign of him. Okay, actually no, he is heavily on stone as well, so probably will also prioritise an early castle. Both players will probably look to go up to 4 TCs at least at some point as well, so when you want a castle, plus those extra TCs, obviously going to need a lot of stone. Both players have access to good unique units, of course, being Spanish and Turks. We could well see Janissaries and or Conquistadors at some point. Conks in particular will be able to roam around the map, maybe guard those monks as they go out to pick up the relics, should Janik choose to prioritise that. Although they can be vulnerable to conversions themselves, of course. Ooh, back to almost getting into Janik's base with 2 scouts, but really he shouldn't have been able to do too much damage with that, and he seems he'd rather keep the scouts out on the map, perhaps with a view to having them assist in getting the relics. But Janik hits the castle age with BacT not even quite 50%, and he's getting a lot of upgrades in bowsaw, wheelbarrow, really early castle, and not too ambitious with the placement. He's just dumped it towards the front of his base, but not even right out here where all of these resources are. Pretty much just taken villagers off berries by the looks of it, and just wants to build it as fast as possible there. Conquistadors being created immediately from the castle. Those villagers return to work on the berries, but Janik's still heavily on stone. Perhaps he wants another castle. He may also choose to sell some stone to kind of give him more gold, and then maybe buy some other resources and help out his imp time. But BacT's hitting the castle age now, and he's arriving in the castle age with 59 villagers. Amazing. Those scouts will convert to light cav straight away. Janik's coming out, just building a house on the front. Forward houses. How to conquer your enemy. No. BacT is already sensing aggression coming in from Janik, and he's doing some interior rewalling with all of his buildings. This strategy served him well against Tato as well, actually, as BacT's castle comes up and his main gold on the front. That won't be denied by Conquistadors, that's for sure. But if you're planning to be the one who's going to be a little bit slower in this double arena game, then that interior rewalling that we see does just buy you some time and help you to defend. A little bit of a pause coming in, hopefully not for too long. Janik, how many extra TCs have you built at this point? None just yet. Did BacT drop any instantly upon the castle age? Not yet. But we can already see how fast-paced these games are. I mean, Janik at 16 minutes is in the castle age with 65 population and 600 gold and food in the bank. Really does just ramp up the speed of these games with the 2 TC starts, but likewise for BacT, he's 800 food almost, although he did queue some villagers there, 1000 gold. He's almost on the verge of being able to click up if he so chooses with the Turk Fast Imp approach. It's beginning to look as though he'll just stick 2 TCs and go up. He's even buying food, so Imperial Age time is really on his mind here. He wants that as fast as possible. But Janik's on his way to Imp as well, so we've got Spanish Fast Imp versus Turk Fast Imp, with more or less identical populations, just under 70 villagers for both players. As a monastery is built on the front for Janik, and he'll begin to collect up relics. Does he see the one in his back at the back of his base? Yeah, yes. He does, but he's not going to take that just yet. He sees the one that's closest to BacT in the north, but not the one in the very far north. Yeah, BacT does see that one on right up there. So yeah, let's just see what approach Janik is going to go for in the Imperial Age. And second castle coming down, so looking like a Conks and Trebs mix for now, with the barracks being built. Still endless amounts of resources to take in the back of his base to support his Imperial Age push as he moves out to take that gold towards the east. Likewise for BacT. So much gold that hasn't yet been touched. But when you're Turks in particular, such a gold intensive civ, and getting involved in a pitched Imperial Age war with your enemy, you can rattle through those gold mines quite quickly within 10 minutes of fighting or so. Janissaries will come out for BacT whilst he's on his way. Conks continue to be produced for Janik from both castles.
Thank you, you wonderful man.
Oh, we have a new subscriber, and that's not a name that I recognise. Welcome to the stream, XIV. Thanks very much, man. You may have heard this spiel before, but all of the money that you subscribe to the stream with is used to pay for community features like TeamSpeak servers and put into sponsoring tournaments as well. It doesn't go to us personally, so thanks for supporting the game. I did kind of miss a little bit of skirmishing between the two armies here. Just a few conks and three conks and a janissary going down by the looks of it. Those janissaries do have a big range advantage over the conks, of course. 2 range there, but the conks a little bit more beefy with the HP. Bloodlines will kick in along with archer armor for both players. Bloodlines for Janik's Conquistadors, of course, and BacT with a second castle only now, which has kind of seen his production be hampered somewhat, considering he's going for the Janissary approach. Oh, you're a long-time lurker, so you've probably heard that spiel before, but it doesn't matter. Well, welcome. Thank you for signing up to a Twitch account. Alright then. Janik's going to come forward, try and engage these Janissaries. The bombard cannons in the back doing good work picking off conks, but there are a lot of conks there, and ultimately BacT can't really just stand there and fight this. Those Turk bombard cannons are being whittled down pretty quickly, even if they do have a lot of HP by virtue of being Turk ones, of course. Is Janik adding anything besides 2 castles at this point to supplement the push? Not really, but at least he's the one applying the pressure to BacT at the moment. With a slightly larger army, may even pick up another bombard cannon on the front, but they get a little bit too close to the castles, and Janik doesn't really want to go in there. If you ever manage to break through this wall, like it might be an idea at some point in the game to try and go through there, because BacT is shielding everything across the front. But if he ever has a moment in the game where he's not using his conks for anything else, a couple of sneaky petards going around to the northwest would be interesting. But for now, he needs them on the front to be a part of his main army and support his main push. And he's really getting into good numbers now. That's looking like probably 18 Conquistadors and a monk. I think his initial scouts have gone down. Needs to be careful to avoid concentrated bombard cannon fire. They do have okay splash damage, and that's why he's spreading his formation out. He's going to come forward and unfortunately hit a villager there with like 20 Conquistadors. That's the most massive overkill you've ever seen in your life. But now he's coming forward and taking down Janissaries and bombard cannons really easily. The combined damage output of all those Conquistadors, and they don't even have elite, is just astronomical. Janik will come forward, put another castle on the front. He's starting to produce trebuchets now. He's feeling he's got the advantage in army terms, and he can start to add the siege to really apply the pressure to BacT. Try and lay siege to those fortifications. BacT remains on 2 castles, but the third is going to go up. So that will help him to catch up in production, considering Janik is winning the fights right now. Still no elite conk for Janik though. With the resources in the bank, he could do it, but as I say that, he actually clicks it right there and then, and that will give those conks a little bit more attack. Janik's actually choosing to send these trebuchets right around to the north to hit the siege workshop first. Wants to get rid of the bombard cannons, it seems. Doesn't like the fact that they keep raining down cannonballs upon his conks from afar, and those trebuchets will have no problem in doing that. BacT will have to rebuild siege workshops inside his base. He's going to have stables, so I guess he's going to mix in heavy camels to try and run up to the conks and deal some bonus damage there, and also give a little bit of a shield for the Janissaries and the bombard cannons in the back, because at the moment the elite conks are winning the fight. 90 HP, 18 attack, with elite Janissaries not coming anytime soon for BacT. It seems those elite conks are really winning the fight against the Janissaries, and BacT is remaining on the defensive right now. Janik needs to be careful not to lose those trebs, of course, especially once the artillery upgrade kicks in for BacT, if it does, to get them the extra range. Janik's really diving in under the castle now. I'm not sure this was well advised. It's giving him the chance to run forward with his trebs and deploy them behind, but the cannons can still come forward, and Janik just lost a lot of conks for little gain there. Capped rams starting to be thrown into the equation though, and if siege rams come out, that will be a really nice addition to try and tank Janissary fire. Give those bombard cannons something to shoot at other than the conquistadors. First castle is going to go down despite BacT's best efforts to repair it. His heavy camels come out in defense, but a little bit too late to save that forward castle, and that gives Janik a little bit of a kind of, can't think of the word I want, but yeah, a bit of a foothold in pushing into BacT's base. Beachhead, that's what I was thinking of, I think. Just try and get a little bit closer to BacT's economy. That main goal did at least get mined out, so even if BacT loses that northern castle, it won't come under extra pressure, but lose that castle he will, I think, as trebs start to unpack and fire upon it. Camels are giving those conks a little bit more to think about, having to micro back and kite, but still, there's not really the base of fire in the back for BacT right now. Not enough Janissaries and bombard cannons to truly deal with the conks. He did at least snipe down one trebuchet, and maybe that will keep that castle alive, especially with a ton of villagers repairing it. But Janik is pushing well for now as the capped rams join the attack. Siege rams still a little way off in terms of food count. If we briefly just look at the bottom of the map, the overlay, because we want to stay focused on the action, we can see that villager counts between the two players pretty similar. 10 villager advantage for BacT, but it's not massive. And we haven't really seen BacT adding in replacement siege workshops for a while, so the bombard cannons seem to have kind of gone missing for him. He's putting up 2 right now. But yeah, he's just not got much army, has he? He's reduced to 8 military, whereas Janik's holding strong at 27, with the addition of the rams really paying off for him, tanking Janissary fire. And Janik's looking good to take this game and make it 1-1, I think. Still needs to work hard to finish it off, but it's in his control now. And he's going to put up another castle on the front to help apply the pressure and give him yet more production of rams and conquistadors and trebuchets. There's 2 more trebs come forward, and Janik is just taking over the map as well, spreading his wings, getting access to extra stone to build more and more castles. And that castle goes down to siege rams as well on the front, leaving BacT on just 2, and with 1 more treb shot, maybe just the 1 castle, BacT is really in a bad spot now. He doesn't have the ability to produce many Janissaries at all. He hasn't got elite Janissary done either, which makes them kind of weak against the elite conks. He's going to have to rely more heavily on heavy camel for the next few minutes at least, which he is at least doing. He is producing more and more of them. But I think Janik, he's happy to just kind of send in rams, keep trebuchets in the back, and just slowly whittle down BacT's production. He will lose some trebuchets to the bombard cannons pushing forward, but nonetheless it's just going so well for him. He's making real inroads into BacT's base. He's destroyed so many castles already. Large economy in the back still will give BacT the ability to flood heavy camels. we see that BacT is actually just trying to get all the upgrades on the heavy camels to give him the best possible chance, but those conks have been such an asset for Janik throughout the game, and he's really proving his ability here, I think. Conks having just such an easy time kiting and microing backwards and picking off the camels one by one. That ball of conks has like 400 damage every time it fires, and even if they are inaccurate and not all the shots connect, it's more than enough to obliterate a camel every couple of seconds. Siege rams continue to come in from Janik. I think if he added a bunch more, he'd just really be able to push in. Take a little look at home. Massive economy for Janik. Lots of farms. 130 vills. He's actually caught up to BacT in vills. And he continues to lay claim to more and more of the mines across the map. All the cards are in his hands. BacT's going to just have to pull off a miracle to hold this, I think, as the siege rams go to take down his last castle. That's 5 siege rams, and although Janik wants to pull back just a little bit to help him take up a better position against the camels and micro against them, that will give the siege rams the diversion that they needed to take down that castle, and that may be a hammer blow for BacT, where he thinks, my last castle has fallen, how can I remain in this game? And I think Janik's got all the relics right now as well. Just going to switch to BacT's point of view. Goes, no, he doesn't even have a monastery, so all the relics in for Janik apart from that one we see in the north, but there's no way BacT is going to get hold of that, and Janik should have seen it given that he's built up there. Because if we go back to Janik's point of view, he's got good resources to keep on pushing, and with the fact that he's under so little pressure, applying all of the pressure to his opponent and taking over the whole map, he's got resources to fight this game and another one. He's got resources for days, and BacT calls GG. Great play by Janik, and he was even getting supremacy. Maybe thinking about adding in bombard towers coming forward with those Spanish supremacy villages. I don't know, but dominant performance, and Spanish really asserting themselves over Turks on double arena in Call to Arms. The last 2 double arena matches we've seen, BacT has played in both of them, both as Spanish and Turks, and basically it's always the Spanish that wins by the looks of it. Great game by Janik. And that makes it 1-1. BacT is fighting for his run as champion in Call to Arms. This is his 3rd week, and it's his ability to stay in the tournament is going to come down to this last game, where Janik still has a lot more civs to choose from.